Right, I'm just finishing this section off. You've already seen me do the first one using the side of the pencil again, and then there's one more here which we'll put in to finish that off. That takes us up to the edge. That's nice. Good. Now in the centre there we're going to start with ivory. All the same now, we're using the side of the pencil all the time. Here. Like that. Okay, now here we want to change colours now, we're changing colour. Now here we've got an orange. I want a little bit more control over this, so what I'm doing now is using the side of the point of the pencil now to build some of the colour into it. You see, it's a little more controlled, and I'm changing pencil angle. I was using that for this, but I'm using it like this for that. Let me show you on the angle again. Show you just a little bit, make sure I'm doing it right. And just a little more, not too much over here because it's just a little less, but I'll keep it at that. I hope you can see the angle right. Let's just move it a little bit more. It's more really using the point now than it's a kind of combination of the two, the point and the side of the point, and that's created the effect I want. Now I wanted to use the same colour again, the same lot colour, the same effect again with 187, and you can see 187, making it a little bit more, but once again it's control. I need the control of it. Just to make it pretty, I'm going to add a little bit of 113, yes. I don't use this very often, this colour. Very pretty. Just to put a little bit of extra sparkle in it for you. There we are. And that's nice. Just a touch with the finger. That's better, even better than a blender, that, when you just don't want to lose the fur effect. Okay, good. Now here, this is darker, so we need a darker colour. So what I'm going to do first of all is put a pink base on it. Pink base. It's basically this again over here. Like and just a darker pink, because I've got a dark area here and a dark area there. And then I think we're going to put a little bit of, I think I put a bit of grey in as well. Pinks and greys. They go well together, pinks and greys. Just look at this again. Angled again. Working. You see, what I do is I look at a particular section of a picture, and then automatically decide what to use. And that's only experience. I've done an awful lot of it. But you had to learn that, unfortunately. Can't do much about it. But that's the colour. Now that's the basic. What we're looking at, as you can see, if you look at the original, we're looking at dark colour. So we want 283 again, which we've used before. This time, a little bit of extra strength there, and a little extra strength here where we've got the, put the pink in, and then the rest of it can be I think side of the point, folks, here, because we're being a little bit more fussy about how we're delivering the texture. Good. And just to make it all look nice, a little bit of 187 to carry it through, using the same technique. I need to darken that a bit more. What I'm going to use now is a little bit of 177, just to make that just a little stronger there. And maybe put a little bit more in. As I say, I'm not, at this moment of time, we're just showing you how we can create different effects, but I think, having said that, what I'll do, I think, is just put a touch of blending in there. That doesn't make excuses for not finishing the picture off. I like that. And a little bit of orange as well. Oh, this is a super picture. I'm looking forward to doing it for you. So that would be that. Now, there's not much more we can do with there, except what I would do is just make sure that I've got this nice and solid, because the next thing we're going to do is around the eye. In fact, I might as well show you that now. Coming down here with the solid colour. So solid there through the eye, and then round underneath there. It's really preparing the way for the eye itself to be put in. Gives us a frame for it, and you see again I'm holding it. You can see quite clearly now how I'm holding the pencil by doing that. Where we go, we finish here. That's the end. Okay, right, there we are now. The next thing we do is we can put the eye in. We'll be putting grey into here as well, but not yet. I'm just waiting until I finish the eye, then we can put the grey in. But that is finished. Now, most of this eye will be using either the point of the pencil, like that, and that, or the side of the point of the pencil, which I shall change when you're doing the fill-up work. So side of the point. I hope you can see that. What I'm doing is doing that. Let me just show you again on the side. I'm doing that side of the point. And that's not a very sharp point, but that's what I'm using. Okay? Let's continue with that. The pressure here I'm using is not very much. I'm being quite light with it to start with, because we're putting lots of colour in here, except when I get to the edge here. Now, when I get to the edge, I'm making it just a little stronger, and you'll see that when I actually finish it off, how effective it is. Now here, because this is in shadow, I'm making it a little lighter. In fact, I'm not even putting it in there at all. I'm going to change to 270. 270 is a cool grey. In fact, I'm going to put 270 in, mix it in. 270 is it's like a neutralising colour. It means that colours we put on top of it will be subdued to a certain extent. And it's a nice colour to put in. Okay, that looks good. Now, we've got to start thinking about the point of the pencil now again, because we're dealing with detail. Making sure that we've got a nice, this is 273 I'm using now, and that gives me a really nice ground colour for the dark colours, which are going to be put on in a little while. Now, just before we go, still on the point here, I'm going to put in a base colour of 270, and then on top of that 273, but not too heavy, not as heavy as that, because this isn't going to be quite so involved. We'll come back to that in a little while. And just under there, because we've got a shadow, we can put 273 on top of 270. And then as we drop down here, we graduate it, so we end up by putting none at all. And the same thing here. Stronger right under the eyelid, and then as we drop down here, we gradually lift the pencil off the paper until we haven't got anything at all. Make it a little stronger over that side. Now, in this section, we haven't got anything at all. we put in a stronger coat, 273. Now, I know you're probably thinking, why doesn't it go close there? The idea of this is to show you my hand all the time and how I'm using it, how I'm holding the pencil. There'll be plenty of time when I do this exercise later on to show you how we do that. So there's the eye. Look, good, doesn't it? Now, we now need to put colour in there. So we're going to start off gingerly by putting a little bit of green in. Now, green can be devastating, but the fact that we've got all these colours underneath it means it's not going to be quite so bright. But it's the positive colour in this eye. Now I'm going to put it in. Again, stronger there, and then gradually weaken off. And here is exactly the same. The other side, gradually weaken off. There's a lot of colours going in this eye. Now that might be all the green we need, because what I'm going to do now is use ochre. This is 183 ochre. And this is serving to just change the green somewhat. Instead of being too green, it's more of an ochre green. Remember, we can always put colours back in again. I can put green back in later. But I'm quite happy with that, the way it's going at the moment. Now, just down here, folks, is where this is very pretty. I'm using 109 now, just on the base. Very pretty. Okay. And then another colour, if I can find it. A little bit of 113. Side of the point now, not the point of the pencil, I'm using the side. And then just a tickle of 187. Great. Now we need to darken this off a little more, so I'm going to put in a little more grey. Make it nice and strong. And then I'm going to use a dark green. This is 174, just to add even more depth to it. And then I'm going to use an ivory, folks. Now the ivory is acting a bit like a blender, really. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use it. It's a nice soft colour, and it can work in a wonderful way by subduing the colour, blending it all together. See, ivory is like a nice neutral colour that will go with oranges and greens and greys and all sorts. And now just around there I'm going to put just a little more stronger colour of ivory in there, just a touch, so I know what's coming next, and that will enhance it. Lovely job. Okay, now we can, just to make sure we've got a clarity, we come back with our white again. I mentioned this earlier, this is with the point of the pencil. Really, all of this is with either the point of the pencil or the side of the point of the pencil I'm using. And there we just fade it in. Don't want a hard line there, so I use a lighter touch of white just to, there we go. Lovely. Okay, just bring that white back well, just there, while we've got the white in the hand. Now we need to darken the eye up, so we're going to use 283 for this. And I kind of like the idea of going around over the top of that with 283 too. It will give us a much richer colour. That's it. Now, I'm going to use a very sharp 177, or at least I would if it was sharp. So I've got to sharpen it, folks. Well, I've got a really nice sharp 177 now. They've also grown in length. Look, I found another one which was better. And here we're very much looking at the point of the pencil. And that's going all the way around the outside. 177 is a stronger colour than 283, which gives us a much better imagery and contrast. And in there too. Excellent. Just on the outside of here, before we go with the black, I'm just going to use the grey. This kind of gives us a foggy look to the outside of the eye. And also, while I'm there, I like that a little darker under there. I think you can see that happening there. And then what we do is we use the black. Ultimately, the black goes on the outside. That. And that, boy, does that set it alight. All the colours that we previously put in there look stunning now. Like inside the pupil, final colour. And that is done. Good. A couple of little points, literary points. I'm just using the point of the pencil. Now I'm turning this upside down because it's easier for me to get to. I've got to go in with the white now, yet again, on that inside edge to make it really stand away. I was mentioning this right at the beginning of this sequence, and now you can see what I was talking about. Graduate it back so it goes into like that. And while we're upside down, why not put just a little touch more green in as well? Just a little, just brightens up. Excellent. There we are, one eye. That's stunning. And that's nearly it, but not quite, because what we've got to do now is also use another colour. And this one, you haven't seen yet, is 169. Now 169 is a very pretty greyish, mauvey colour. Very attractive. And I use it a lot. And also, while we're doing it there, I'm also going to put it into here. I should have done it originally, but didn't. But just an added touch of colour, because we're going to use it in here in a minute. And I was saying that I was also going to use the grey. Well, now I'm going to in here, because what we want to do now is to make, don't want to make that quite so solid a colour. We want to make it more natural. Still obviously white there, but, and while we're about it, a little bit more. This is fun. A little more strength there, and maybe just a smidgen of this 169 as well, just here, because there's going to be a little dip there, the animal, and just by way of contrast I'm going to use a little smidgen of black there, just very, very lightly. Now I'm using the side of the pencil, and you can see, let me just show you how I'm using that. And the fact that I was miles away from the point means I wanted a very light touch. So what's happening is the pencil isn't pressing in, it's just really laying on the surface of the paper. And all it's doing is just, see that? Like that. And you get a fabulous effect. It's so good, folks, that we do exactly the same thing here. From there. See? See? Look how far my hand is from the edge of the pencil. We make that a little darker there, and then we can just tidy it up with other pencils. 227. That was 169. This is 170. Just to make it darker, and it makes this area here with a little white marker on this animal's in there, makes it stand out a bit more. And we're nearly there now with this particular sequence. I just want to put a little more there and a little more there, because the final touch is one of my favourites. Let me show you what it is. What I need is the point of the pencil and a nice sharp white. Even sharper than that, believe it or not.